very much. Next, please, Jason. Other than to say we've made real progress, and it is exciting. And I have to say I'm thrilled with what's finally happening. It has, as I said earlier, it has been a long time, but I think it's now started to be worth it. We've now secured the 75 million of government housing infrastructure funding. We've just received Section 73 outline planning amendment approval, and a number of you were very helpful in giving your support and comments to this to that application. The enabling works for the first 61 homes has started. Brilliant. At long last, we're on site, and project delivery is underway. We are incredibly thrilled by what's happening. There are still some procedural hurdles to follow with the council, and we're doing our utmost to get those through as fast as possible. But the important thing is we are moving, and we're very excited. And just if I can say a few words about the IMC, the IMC is integral to what we always said we wanted to achieve. And John and Trevor will remember this very well. When we first stood in front of them, we said we're going to be delivering not only homes, but health and education and skills and training. We still intend to deliver all those, and the IMC is at the heart of that. Healthy living's become even more important than it was when we first started. Getting healthy communities is where we want to be. So working in partnership with the integrated medical centre is a joy for us, and we believe it's going to add real value to the Purfleet-on-Thames area. So thank you very much. So I will now, as I promised, promised to keep this very brief, we'll pass over to Jason. Jason.
Right. Thanks, Ken. So just very quickly as a rehash of where we are on our project timeline. This is an updated timeline as of present day, and everything in the dark blue has been achieved and everything in the light blue lies ahead of us. So many will be aware this is a long public consultation process that started at the infancy of the project. We've worked through our outline planning requirements, as Ken said, with the recent approval of the Section 73 and the housing infrastructure funding grant award to Thurrock, which PCRL will utilise in delivering infrastructure works that will result in housing. I'll talk a little bit about those in a second. This year is all about preparing those infrastructure planning applications and getting ready for large-scale wholesale development on the project, as well as supporting the SWAN team in their delivery of the first phase, the first 61 homes on 1A. This year is also about the continuing consultation process through the Purfleet Design Forum with John and Trevor and the team. And we're really looking forward to that, and to that end, we're setting up a whole rolling program of interfaces and meetings this year, which anyone who wants to be involved, obviously, through the usual channels, contact John. We're really keen to engage. 2022 is a big construction start year for us. This year is all about planning and preparation. Next year is about big infrastructure works to close the crossing, get the bridge in, and get the remediation works, which will lay the foundations for more housing and the primary school and the IMC. A little bit about, the next slide. This is a very high level snapshot, but I thought it might be interesting to understand what the 75 million to Thurrock is actually paying for. It's all about laying the foundations for housing. It doesn't actually pay for housing itself, it pays for the foundations, the infrastructure. So it's about buying any land that Thurrock need to acquire to deliver that infrastructure, and that's predominantly the network rail lands, the surplus lands adjacent to the railway line, the demolition and land remediation and reprofiling or cut and fill underneath the primary school, underneath the IMC, underneath the housing. That's all the work that will happen through 2022. And then beyond that, you've got the roads and the highways and the bridge works that sit above that remediation work. So you can see there in the green, those are the current engineering drawings for the new London Road. You can see the bridge structure, that's where it goes over the railway line. And then at the bottom row, to allow us to build that new London Road, we actually need to demolish the existing station. And so to enable continuous traffic flow and utilisation of the railway, we're building an interim station, and that's what's shown on these drawings on the bottom. That interim station will start the end of this year. It will be in place middle of next year, and only then will the current station close so it can be made way for the new London Road and Bridge. The HIF infrastructure works also pays for the brand spanking new station that will sit in the middle of the town centre in the master plan that you've seen before. And we're really excited and having a very successful working relationship with Network Rail and getting the requisite approvals for both those stations. So what does this year look like for us? It's all about 1A under construction, getting the consent for the planning condition discharge, sorry, the conditions of the 73 and the outline conditions, the site-wide strategies we've talked to the design group about before, the zonal master plans, the various high-level guiding principle documents to allow us to bring forward reserve matters for works, and also the preparations for the primary school, the IMC and the additional homes, as I said before. Also, we're ongoing our conversations and negotiations on bringing forward the studios, which we're looking really exciting, and we're looking forward to bringing a further update on that in future meetings. I will now hand over to Nicola, who hopefully will be online. I'll direct the slides for you, Nicola, if you want to pick up.
That's lovely. Thank you, Jason. Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So I'm Nicola Windsor, and I'm part of the project management team that is leading the Thurrock Integrated Medical Centres programme for all of the partners in Thurrock, along with my colleagues who are here today from Thurrock Council and Health. So between us, we hope to provide you with a short update on the wider IMC programme and to answer any questions that you may have. The partnership, which includes Basildon Hospital, Thurrock Council, providers of community and mental health and primary care, along obviously with our colleagues from PCRL for Purfleet, are fully committed to the development of 4 integrated medical centres across the borough. This is very much a partnership between Thurrock Council, the NHS and the local community. And we all want to see health and care services delivered closer to where people live in modern buildings with a range of services, delivered by staff with many different health and care disciplines, designed to prevent people needing to go to hospital. So IMCs are all about early intervention and prevention. So we've been working on this programme for a number of years now, and the need for these integrated medical centres has been strengthened, not reduced, by our experience with COVID over the past year. The need for the IMCs has always been including the following. So a lot of our GP practices are under huge pressure, and the population of Thurrock is growing. We know we need to expand the capacity and the quality of primary care services. The new integrated medical centres will mean moving from outdated facilities and services working in silo to specifically designed buildings, delivering a joined up health and social care, community and third sector care approach with Thurrock residents at the heart. So the new Purfleet IMC will be located close to the heart of the new town centre and will primarily serve Purfleet, Aveley and South Ockendon residents. Purfleet residents, though, will also be able to attend other IMCs for appointments, which will hopefully help with patient choice. So the IMCs are for all Thurrock residents in terms of outpatient, diagnostics and blood tests. They will bring together a new primary care offer, social care services such as wellbeing teams and community-led support, alongside technology-enabled care, and relocate a number of outpatient services into the community from Orsett Hospital. So Thurrock Council and the NHS partners, alongside the community and the voluntary sector, remain committed to developing the IMCs to ensure that we deliver state-of-the-art integrated medical centres, ensuring that people can access the majority of what they need close to home, whilst offering a very different joined-up health and care solution. We want to ensure that communities will be involved in seeing the development through to concept designs all the way through to completion. So each community will be offered an opportunity to name the building. We've got lots of different ideas about competitions, local competitions, and also we want to involve schools and young people I'm going to offer the chance to come together to create a mural and some art and design for each of the IMCs, which will reflect the importance of their own local community being stronger together and focusing on self-care, emotional health and well-being. So this map shows where the IMCs will be built. They will serve the whole of Thurrock's population, and good progress is being made on the integrated medical centres. There are all, however, progressing at slightly different rates. The first of the 4 IMCs is being built in Corringham and is being funded by Nelft NHS. Building work for this scheme will start this week, and the centre is due to open in spring 2022. Tilbury IMC is being led by Thurrock Council and is at the design stage of the scheme, progressing really well, and should be completed by the winter of 2023. Grays is also being led by Basildon Hospital and EPUT, who own the site at Thurrock Community Hospital. So they are currently reviewing their master plan, and the scheme will restart again in March as the project has had to be paused due to the current pandemic. But Jason will present Purfleet IMC in a bit more detail shortly. So what we have found that it's taken time to build brand new initiatives with many different partner organisations and developers coming together to create this 21st century facility that embody the ethos of providing better care together. And that's our wider transformation programme in Thurrock. As you can imagine, the complexity of this programme cannot be understated. To build one IMC is complicated enough, let alone 4. So transport and access are key themes people told us they were concerned about last time we talked to the residents about the IMCs. And this is something we are working closely on with our transport and highways colleagues at the council, along with the design teams for each of them. So here is an indicative schedule of accommodation for each IMC. What I can say is that we are committed to delivering that joined up health, social care, community, third sector approach. It will bring the new primary care offer with new primary care health professionals to better meet the needs of the local population. Alongside primary care, we'll have multi-professional teams providing enhanced services for residents. Additional services will be available in the new IMCs, including blood tests, children and young people's health and care services, mental health and wellbeing support, social care and community-led services. So we hope to attract more people to support the health services. This will include the extended primary care teams currently available to many residents in Thurrock. So this would include physiotherapists, clinical pharmacists, advanced nurse practitioners able to prescribe, and of course these will be GP-led centres. This is all part of the wider strategy for primary care in Thurrock. So we are working on the detail of this model. So this doesn't give everything that we want to provide and how we want to provide it. So we're looking at each community health and care needs so that we can develop and shape how best to deliver services in each of the centres. So once we have shaped this new integrated model, we'd like the opportunity to come back here and review this with you so that you can help us identify any gaps. And we anticipate that we'll be able to share this with you in the next few months. So we're hoping that we will have an invite back here. So I'm going to pass you on now back to Jason, who's going to talk a little bit more about the details around specifically Purfleet IMC and where we are with our roadmap to success. Thank you.
Thanks, Nicola. So in terms of the roadmap for the Purfleet IMC, as Nicola said, we've been working with Nicola and the rest of the CCG and HS team in developing up a concept for the IMC in Purfleet. It ostensibly is going through a process of business case approval with the NHS as we speak. That'll complete in the next few months. And those initial designs are being integrated by the PCRL team to fit in with the rest of the master plan. As we said, by March, we'll have the business development piece, initial business development piece completed. And we think at around the March, April time would be the optimum time to come back and talk through, John, probably through the Purfleet Design Forum on the presentation of the IMC design, so we can get that early input from the local teams. ultimately, we're all aiming for and will hit a completion of the Purfleet IMC by the end of 2023 in conjunction with a whole lot of the Purfleet Master Plan. And here is the Purfleet Master Plan, the illustrative master plan, and the area in red is what we classify as our town centre. It has the new railway station at the heart of it that sits over the new town, over the railway station, railway line, I should say, and it has a pedestrian bridge, both for public and ticketing facilities on either side, so the platform is accessible from all areas. The IMC sits right at the heart of that master plan. You can see it there in red. It is the ground and first floor of a building we called 1B, which is residential above. But as you can see, it takes on a large floor plate directly facing onto the civic square, which is easily accessible directly to the railway station and indeed to the town centre on the other side. It's shown in this drawing, or this image, the 3D image up to the top. It's the area in green. So as I said, it's the ground and first floor, and we have some indicative floor plans that I'll show you in a sec. But in terms of our architectural team, it's AHMM, who are our overall master planners on the scheme. They're also doing the detailed design on the IMC at this point. And this is a couple of precedents that they've used and have been awarded for local medical facilities. This one's in Kentish Town, and another one in North London Hospice and West Norwood Health, where similar type of IMC facilities have been provided. And you can see it's all about light, airy space and very open and accessible. Here is the ground floor, the indicative ground floor of the IMC as it stands. And I'll just walk through this very quickly. The blue triangle shows the entry to the facility, the waiting area, fully public. You walk into an open reception, and that's where members of the public would come in and register. They would then wait there and be seen to by GPs who would take them to treatment rooms either on the same floor, you can see those in green, or indeed go up a level through the lifts that are within the IMC, those are shown in grey, to the first floor. I'm sorry, I'll just jump to the first floor, where there's additional consultation and examination rooms. On the first floor, there's also the office areas for the staff of the IMC itself. And then it actually backs onto a central atrium on the 1B building. You can see that behind the lift course. So we are looking at proposals for garden areas and open access to natural light on all areas. If I can just jump back to the first floor, you can see the white areas on this plan are actually, they're the access to the residential above. So the IMC on the ground and first floor as part of an integrated offer to the residential. But very importantly, you can see there on the right in purple, a pharmacy and a dentist facility. And while that's not formally part of the approval through the NHS process we're going through, we're working with the NHS team and we're working with the rest of the Purfleet scheme to bring supporting dentistry and pharmaceutical offers, retail offers like a Boots, for example, so that it's co-located with the IMC as an integrated offer. In terms of the entrance and some early architectural sort of aspirations, Nicola talked about murals and so forth, and these are you can see those on some of these precedent buildings where we are looking to bring that sort of light and playfulness into the architecture. We're not looking to make these IMCs, and particularly the Purfleet one, a sterilised, institutional architecture. These are all about local community facilities, providing local community health, and we want them to be open and accessible in that way. Again, some more images of the type of architectural finishes we're looking at, and then through the floor plates, and these are some other precedent designs. That was really it. We didn't want to take any more of your precious time, John, particularly on the late start. So any Q&A, happy to have them now or through the course of the meeting. I'll hand back to John.
Thank you very much, Jason, and of course Nicola and Ken. Quite inspiring, I think. And can I put our name on one of those little blue offices, please? I'll bring down the Purfleet Forum head office sometime during the week, so just stamp it on the project, so we've got our bit.
Yeah.
But joking aside, yeah, if we can crack on, and then as per our earlier discussion, Jason, if we can do Q&A later on in the meeting, that would be really helpful, so that we can at least get the AGM done and out of the way. But I will say, if that's okay with everybody else. I see everybody is muted, so wave at me, please. Yeah, 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 great. Okay, then we'll just crack on, and Lynn, you've got in. Yes, yes,
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Oh, great, that's marvellous. Right, just bear with me for a sec. I've lost me, where I am. Oh, right, okay. So I think at this moment we'll shift over to the AGM, so we can just get that done and dusted, and see if I'm going to be here for the rest of the evening, or whether I'm going to nip into the phone and have a large glass of alcohol. Anyway, this is my report, for what it's worth, and yeah, that's it, yeah. We're here again. 2020 has been and gone, and what a year it's been. I think it's one to remember. We started the year with a really highly successful AGM and open meeting. And interestingly, at that meeting, we had PCRL, so a bit of deja vu there. We were successful in getting funding from the Lottery Anniversary Grant for £1,000 to get lighting on the green. That is still ongoing, but we have managed to get some PowerPoints on the outside of the children's centre, and when someone parts with the key so that we can open them up, that'll be a move in the right direction. Then we were discussing our March meeting, and we were hit by lockdown. Trevor and I decided to do newsletters. Easier said than done. Not only did we produce a newsletter for March, but we also put one out for May, July and September, and sent them out to the mail list, of which there is around about 250 names. The sad thing is that, as with meetings, we asked for feedback, but didn't get more than 2 or 3. So after a lot of work, mainly by Trev, I might say, we don't really know if folk liked them or not. During the early part of the long summer, Trevor, assisted by members of the group, cleared the undergrowth foliage from around the boat on Stonehouse Roundabout and painted the boat, removed the cobbles to pressure wash them before putting them back. We had the shield on the beacon cleaned and repainted as required, along with the new beacon Purfleet-on-Thames banner that's mounted on the bottom. The removal and refitment involved DIY, as in me and Trev up a ladder in the tipping rain and blowing a gale. But as you can see, we managed it. July the 4th, we formally changed the name of Purfleet to Purfleet-on-Thames. Unfortunately, due to the lockdown, we were unable to put on a bash that we wanted to do. It was great to have Ensign Bus in attendance, with the new ultimate destination changed to Purfleet-on-Thames showing on the front of their bus. We took part in supporting Connecticut T100 walk through Purfleet-on-Thames, but once again, this was very low, as the stuff that was planned was then scuppered by COVID restrictions. Early in the lockdown, I was contracted by a local meat supplier, William Wright, and I know that some members took advantage of the service, and it was greatly appreciated, as I understand it, and that their food stuff is of very high quality. We were consulted regarding the possibility of shutting the level crossing to make the area safer. Love it or hate it, we've settled for a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. We now get to November, and Trevor and I were looking at another newsletter. PCRL had asked earlier in the year if they could present, not thinking we would still be in lockdown, and we agreed. Oops came to mind, so we decided to buy a licence and move forward. What a fantastic meeting we had. We held our open meeting and once again PCRL presented. At this point, I must say thank you to Waits, PCRL, Ensign Bus and Garrison Residents Association for their support in funding the festive street lighting. Our treasurer has prepared an end of year accounts which include money ring-fenced for on-green maintenance, upgrades, festive lighting, the King's Quay. Money promised from Waits and Garrison Residents Association has yet to be received. So here we are once again, 2021, still in lockdown, but able to move forward with our first meeting of the year. There are no changes to the Constitution, so I think it's time for the existing committee to stand down. But I will just very, very briefly, if I can find out what I've done with it, just so that no one thinks we might be skimping. The start of January 2020, we had £15,439.61 in our bank account. That doesn't mean to say it was for us to spend, because I can assure you it wasn't. And that covered all manner of stuff, the Christmas lights, doing the beacon, this, that and the other. We're now at the end of the year and we've got 4,448 quid left. That will go towards more Christmas lights and ongoing odds and ends. But if anyone really wants to see our accounts, if they email me, then we'll see if we can send you a full copy. But I think the only person that really understands it is Hillary. But anyway, thanks to Hills, because it's been an ongoing all-year job. Right. So now comes the bit I hate. I don't like it when it's our AGM or anyone else's AGM come to that. So Lynn Gittins has kindly agreed to facilitate our AGM bit. So I'll hand over to Lynn, where she will take you through the voting procedure, etc., etc. Thank you, Lynn.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to your AGM. Just please bear with us, because it's the first time we've done a virtual election, so we don't have it how it's going to work. But this is the procedure we're going to follow. We've had 9 candidates who expressed an interest in standing for an officer or committee role. We will start with the officer position first, then move to the committee position in turn. For each candidate, we will ask for a proposer and a seconder prior to going to vote via the chat status online. The proposer for each candidate must unmute themselves, give their name and state the proposal. The following of the proposal will be asked for a seconder again. Sorry, my mic's very blurry now. Following the proposal, I will ask for a seconder again. You must unmute yourself, state your name and endorse the proposal. Thereafter, each candidate can be put to the vote via the chat function by typing Y for yes and N for no under the candidate's name. the following voting period will be open for 30 seconds, as Trevor's pointed out through there. The proposer or seconder or anyone to vote must live or work in Purfleet. Does everyone understand that? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So we're going to go with the officers first for chair. We've had one candidate, and that's for John Rolls. Can I have a proposer for that, please? Can someone unmute themselves and give their name if they want to vote for John?
I'm a bachelor. I vote for John. I propose him.
Can I have a seconder, please?
Yep, it's Carla Leo, and I'll second that.
Thank you, Carl. Can we now go to the vote on the chat function, please? Can everyone just put in under John's, under chair, a Y or a no?
Can't see it.
Everyone done that?
Claire,
Right.
unmute yourself.
Okay. I'm going to close that voting now. Is Claire there?
Yes, I'm here. So we've got that all recorded. All right, thank you.
It looks like there's 22 votes.
I'd have to sort of count through them afterwards, but I haven't got any objections there. So
It looks like to me there's 22 votes, and it's all for John.
yeah.
No proposal. John, are you okay to restand?
Yes, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Now for vice chair. We have one candidate, and it's for Trevor Batchelor. Can I have a proposal for Trevor, please?
Yeah, I'll propose Trevor.
That's John
That's
Rolls.
John Rolls.
Can I have a seconder, please?
Yeah, can I second it?
Yeah.
It's Christine,
Yeah, Christine Rolls.
and you're seconding for the vice chair.
Yeah.
For Trevor, yeah.
Okay. Can we now go to the vote, please, on the chat function? Y for yes, N for no.
You have to do that.
No, I can't even see where it is.
At the bottom of your screen, this says chat.
On the screen. Oh, what have you done?
Oh, yeah, okay, Trevor, thank you.
Oh, what do we do then?
Oh, where's the no button? Can you put that back up, Claire? I want to put a no.
John, be over yourself.
Okay, we're closing that vote for Trevor.
Yes, I've got 15 in favour. So
Thank you. Trevor, are you okay to restand as vice chair?
Yeah, I am. That's okay.
Thank you. Now for secretary, we got Claire Aspin, is the only nomination we've got.
Yeah,
Claire, can I have a proposal for Claire, please?
I'll propose Claire.
Can I have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Voting is now open for Claire. Please go to.
sorry, I've just got to put my name in there.
Oh, sorry.
I'll go to the bottom of the screen.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, voting is now open.
Right, you can vote now.
Claire.
Let's see, where?
Down the bottom, John.
Down the bottom, yeah, but it can come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh, hang on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Voting is now closed.
Oh, we
Keep
missed
the
it.
secretary.
No, I've got it there.
Oh, right, okay.
Claire, it looks like you've got about 20 odd votes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, are you okay to restand as secretary?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Claire.
Well,
Can I have a, Now for treasurer, we've got Hilary Mason. Hilary, are you there?
Yeah, hi Lynn.
Hello. Are you happy to restand?
Yes, I am.
Can I have a proposal for Hilary, please?
I propose Hilary. It's Claire Asplin.
Can I have a seconder, please?
I second Hilary, Lisa Wright.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Lisa. Can we now go to the voting, please, on the chat button?
Oh, there's me as well.
Ah,
Oh, God, you put nothing in the eye.
sorry.
Okay, we're now going to close that vote for treasurer.
No, it's there.
Claire, I think we've got probably about 50, I'll make it about 18.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't quite read quickly enough, but yes, they're all
Oh, yeses.
all yeses, so that's fine. Yes.
Hilary, you happy to stay?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to go for the general committee. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people to stand for that. I've got Christina Rolls.
Yes.
Can I have a proposal for Christine, please?
I can.
And a seconder.
I'll second. I didn't hear who proposed.
Sarah Alcock.
Thank you.
Can we now go to the vote on the chat function for Christine?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to close that vote now for Christine. I think again I made that around about 18.
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
you okay?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, you okay to restand as committee member?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Next one's Lisa Wright. Lisa, you're muted.
Yep, I'm here.
I propose, Lisa, John Rolls.
John Rolls. Can I have
I
a seconder
second.
for Lisa, please?
I second Trevor Batchelor.
Trevor Batchelor. Can we now go to the vote for Lisa, please?
Oh, bugger. Well, that'll be really good. So.
Okay, line that's closed for Lisa. I'll make it 13.
Fine. Thank you.
Lisa, you okay to restand?
I am, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Next one, we have Adrian Hillman. I've said his name right, Hayden?
Hillsum. Yeah, close enough. Hillsum.
Can I have a proposal for Adrian, please?
Claire Asplin proposing Adrian.
Seconder?
I'll second that. Carla Leo.
Oh, I've got Larry Collins to second also. Can we go to public vote, please? Okay, I'm going to close that for Adrian. I'll make it 16.
Thank you.
Adrian,
I still can't find where to vote.
on the bottom of your screen,
There's nothing on the bottom of my screen.
can you see Trevor pointing his finger?
Yeah, but I don't have all those icons.
Are you on your phone, Moira?
I'm on my iPad.
Ah.
Is that why it's not showing?
I can't think where it is on the iPad.
No, mine's on the bottom screen.
You need to go where your pop-up bar is.
Right, it says chat here 16, but I don't have that icon.
Well, it says chat 16, go to the bottom and type in the bottom.
Ah. I don't get that either. All it's doing is going with things like that, thumbs up and all that.
Are you doing a yes or no?
A yes.
Can you add the yes to the votes, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it won't let me do that.
No, we'll do it verbally.
I'll do it for you.
Lynn?
Yep, okay. Can we just make note of that we did Morris verbally? Thank you. Okay, so Adrian, are you okay to restand?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you. Next I've got Hattie Pitt.
Yeah, that's me.
Can I have a proposal for Addie, please?
Moira propose.
Can I have
Did you
a
hear
seconder?
that?
Yeah, more of a yeah. Can I have a seconder?
Hillary, I'll second.
And I've also got Larry Collins to second. Can we go to the vote, please?
Moira, yes.
Okay, I'll put that in for you.
Thank you. Okay, we close that vote. I made that 21 for Addie.
Lovely.
Addie, you okay to restand?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And the last one I've got is Maura Pollington. Can I have a proposal, please, Maura?
Yeah, Lisa Wright, I'll propose Moira.
I'll second that, Walcott.
Thank you. Can we now go to the vote? Okay, we're closing the vote. I made that 19.
Thank you.
Maura, are you happy to restand as committee member?
Yes.
Thank you. So all the nominees have now been selected. Assume this is correct.
Yeah.
This brings part of the AGM to a close, and I am now handing the meeting back over to newly selected John Rolls.
Thank you, Lynn.
John. Thank you. Back to you, John.
Yeah. Not now.
And all sorts.
I thought you were going to make a cup of tea.
Oh, I'll clap as well. There you go. Right. Yeah. Thanks, Lynn. And thank you, everybody that's agreed to stand. And so we can move forward again. Right. So we can now, oh, yeah, we've done that. We can now go back to our open meeting, and our next speaker will be, is Neil with us?
Yeah, I'm here, John.
All right. Hi, Neil.
Hiya.
Right. Neil is our, or was our local community bobby, and he's going to say a few words on his new position, which at the moment looks like it's sitting down. But welcome, Neil.
Thank you, John. Yes, I'm sitting down. I mean, I'm not wearing uniform because I'm actually working from home this evening, but just in case anybody was worried, I do have my police ID if anyone wanted to check. Oh, I really am a policeman. But But no, thanks for having me along. This is the first community forum meeting I think that any Essex Police officer from Thurrock District has been involved in. So before I sort of go on to my new role, in a sense, and moving forward with engagement. That wasn't my spelling mistake, by the way. Thank you, Trevor. I'll give you a bit an update that he's now your ex-beat officer as well, Tom Strong, who's moved over to Roads Policing Unit. He sent a short update to obviously this forum and the Avon Kennington forum, because obviously he, like myself, did used to cover both wards. So just a quick update from him. He put on there, we've run several operations in the Thurrock area recently targeting vehicle-related criminality. These have included arrests for theft of motor vehicle, drink drive, drug driving, large seizures of cash, drugs and weapons. Nuisance motorbike patrols have also been conducted with Section 59 warnings being issued and bikes being seized. He then goes on to talk about the previous lockdown, which was a quiet spell for us in some ways, crime-wise, shall we say. But obviously there was crime still going on, and obviously he was asking that residents still continue to report any suspicious behaviour, which they could obviously do via 101 or our online, or if they didn't want to talk to the police, obviously we'd recommend going via Crime Stoppers. What's he go on to? It then goes on to the fact that obviously we're in another lockdown again, and it's unforeseen how long this will last. And despite the understandable frustrations, he asked people to follow the rules, work together, and who knows, Christmas 2021 may be a well-deserved celebratory one. He then goes on to say he'd like to thank you all for the past 2 years while serving the area. He says he's thoroughly enjoyed it. It'll follow him for the rest of his career, and best wishes to all. He's moved on to road policing. He did actually say in his email that I'm sure John and Trevor that his replacement is in the pipeline, and he actually put a date of 12th of February. Well, I've got some good news there. The replacement's already here. His name is PC Adam Priest. I've already made him aware that under the 2 wards that he will cover, Avon Uplands, West Thurrock and South Stifford, which obviously Purfleet-on-Thames comes under, the fact that there are 3 community forums, and hopefully going forward as part of the community policing team, he will hopefully be able to come along to these meetings in future and get a bit of an idea around what the forum's priorities are and stuff like that. You've also actually as well, you've also got not a replacement, but you've got a new PCSO as well for the wards, Jacqueline Tweedle. She's been with us a little while, but whilst Laura, who some of you may have known, the PCSO, she's been seconded, still within Purfleet, funny enough, but what we call Op Bluebird, which is around the Ports Watch work. Hopefully I'm hoping by the end of February, middle of March maybe, hopefully I'll have even better news to say another officer has joined the community policing team, and will share the load, if you like, with Adam Priest. Obviously you've still got your 2 town centre team officers, PC Butcher and PC Plum, who have been working on Op Smile, predominantly around ASB on the garrison, and they've had some good success there, and there's been some good feedback. Trevor, can we go back to my presentation, please? Does that come up? Because I can't see it at my end because I'm only on my phone, so I'm hoping it's there for everybody to see.
You're muted, Trevor.
Yes, it isn't at the minute, Neil.
How you doing, Trevor? You had it out there earlier.
Trevor's muted at the moment, so I'm just trying to find him to unmute.
Right.
Yeah, I've got it, Neil, on the slide, but it's not, won't show on the presentation, will it? I don't think. Let's have a look.
So we had the first slide to begin with, and then the nice bacon roll.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Oh, there you go.
How's
Yeah,
that?
that's cool. That's number 2, so that's fine. We can stay on that. Cool. Yeah, I'll keep talking whilst you play around with it. But obviously, I hope the most you can see there. So in June of last year is when I started the CSEO role, or Community Safety and Engagement Officers role, which was new to Essex Police, and was brought around about trying to, should we say, develop our engagement, improve our engagement with the different communities of, well, the whole of Essex, but obviously in my case, just for the Thurrock district. There are now 2 of us. PC Louise Burrows joined me in November. So we work hand in hand across the whole district, looking how we can do that engagement. Obviously, because of COVID, a lot of that has been on social media and online. And for those of you who don't follow, we are on Facebook and Twitter, which, just to give you our things, we obviously, if you look up Essex Police Thurrock, at Thurrock CPT is Twitter, and then on Facebook, we are Essex Police Thurrock Districts, or at EP Thurrock. If anyone isn't already following us, but we have nearly reached 10,000 followers, which is really good considering we was about 7,000 6 months ago. So it's been really good. At the same time as Essex Police introducing this new role last year, Thurrock Council also introduced their resident engagement team as well at the same time. So we work a lot in partnership with them. We have monthly virtual meetings with all the chairs of many resident groups across the district, and obviously I go there as to provide a bit of an update and answer any questions that come up and stuff like that. And we work together sometimes on week-long Facebook things, and obviously we'd have an input on crime, ASB, or anything police related matters. There's the lovely picture of myself actually in uniform for a change, is obviously at River Court in Purfleet-on-Thames, and was what we called a focus street meet, which we'd come up with. I think we managed to get 3 in between lockdown 1 and before Rule of 6 came in, where we'd go to a specific street, if you like, rather than just being at the shops or something like that. We'd go to a specific street, leaflet drop the residents in that street, and then obviously speak with them and look at long-term solutions for your problems and move forward. The last thing on that slide about Bluebird Crime Stoppers, so obviously very recently, obviously we've had the jail sentences handed out for the individuals involved in the tragic incident with the 39 deaths just up the road, obviously from Purfleet in West Thurrock, and not Bluebirds come around. There's a lot of partnership work with Border Force, Home Office, stuff like that. And obviously some of you, again, if you follow social media, will have seen that Crime Stoppers actually launched yesterday, only in Essex, around organised immigration crime, and in 2 weeks' time that will actually go nationwide with results. Obviously starting on moving. Next slide please, Trevor. So a lot of the key measures for my role is around the public perception survey. And basically this is obviously Q2, Q3 I was expecting to be out this month but hasn't come out yet. But as you can see from Q2, obviously, I'd like to claim it's all the good work that myself, well, actually, yes, think about it, because Louise didn't join me till November. I'd like to claim all that's because of me, but of course it's not. But at least we are going in the right direction. Around that confidence in local policing is up. Obviously, one of the best things is the 14% increase with Essex Police understands the issues that affect your community. And this is Thurrock-wide. There is an Essex-wide one in a sense, but this is specifically to Thurrock. Obviously, as you go down, some of you might be thinking, hang on a minute, there's an 8% down arrow, but it's green. Well, obviously, if you read the question, you can see that actually it's a good thing that it's gone down. Obviously, we'll be driving that down further, hopefully, in the next quarter. And obviously, the only red arrow of a 1% drop was that confidence in receiving a good service from Essex Police. But obviously, going forward, this is a key driver for our district commander, as well as our what we call our local policing area commander as well, which covers the whole of the West, which is us, Harlow, Brentwood, Epping Forest, Loughton. This is a key driver. They will be looking at those things to make sure we are doing what the public want in a sense, and responding to what their priorities are on that. So obviously, next slide please, Trevor. Developing engagement in going forward. There is that number one focus, if you like, on that continued with visibility focus, and that should definitely be delivered by your town centre team officers who should be on foot. They've had a new sergeant start recently, which is good, so he'll be driving that forward. And like I said, the town centre team were doing Ops Smile on the garrison, and we'd had good feedback from the calls from the council. There'd been a number of community protection warnings, notices, obviously even arrests around the damage to the CCTV cameras on the estate, and stuff like that. So that is still our number one focus. Restart of focus street meets, community partnership, pop-up events. Obviously that will be dependent on when restrictions are lifted and what we go back to. Does the rule of 6 come back in? Do we get to a point where, I think it was when as many as 30 people could meet up. I think that's when we was doing the focus street meets, and certainly some community partnership pop-up events. But we look forward confidently to be doing that probably in the middle of this year. Obviously, whilst we still are online, we'd look to increase our social media presence, and we have seen the figures rise. Obviously, we do look to try and get a varied feed, if you like, or posts out there to keep everybody interested, and try and make them specific as we can for each area as well, if we know it's in Purfleet-on-Thames or Aveley or Stamford Hope or anything like that. And obviously, eventually, we all hope to relaunch our inside engagement with Coffee with the Cops and community forum meetings. Though obviously I must say, John, as chair, this is the best community forum Zoom meeting I've been to. It is the first one I've been to as well, but well done. You're a bit like my guinea pigs, because if this works for us and for you guys, then obviously hopefully we'll start. I think there's only one other community forum that's doing it elsewhere in the district, but obviously we would look to start that engagement from them. But obviously developing engagement going forward as well is, obviously we're keen to know what it is that the communities of Thurrock want engagement from us. Do they want these Coffee with Cops? Do they want these focus street meets, pop-up events? I know obviously they'd love to see a police officer in every street corner and stuff like that, but is there something that, I don't know, their businesses or something they're involved with has done differently as we all look to change the way we work, if you like, at the moment? So thank you very much for having me. Obviously, if there's any questions, if I can answer them, I will. If I can't, I'll take them away.
Is there anyone with any questions for Neil very quickly?
I would like to ask Neil, with the survey, the quarterly survey that he spoke about, where do those figures come from? How do you get the information?
I myself get them through from a unit at headquarters. I think it's an outside company that does it on behalf of us. It's not us that does it, because obviously that could be open to interpretation and stuff like that. I don't know the full ins and outs of it, but by all means I could look into it and see. I just sort of get a bit like that graph that I show you, and I get to see that and see what's going well and what's not going well. I can't break it down any further than Thurrock either. I don't know whether they spoke to people in Purfleet-on-Thames or Aveley or anything like that. We just get it as Thurrock, because there has even been other questions that are asked on that breakdown. Can we break it down in terms of age, ethnicity, and all things like that? And our senior officers are looking into that as well. Is can we do that? Because obviously some people might argue, well, you could have just put that together and just put a load of green arrows on it to make you look good. Obviously we'll see what happens with quarter 3, but no, I can always look into that, Claire, and come back next time and hopefully be able to give a bit more.
Thank you, Neil. As you know, you're always welcome to come to our meetings. Just give us a shout when you want to join in, and we will give you a slot. And if your new constables want to come along and introduce themselves, that would be really, really good as well.
Yep, I'll tell them that you're a really nice bunch as well, John, so they don't have to be scared of you.
Thanks for that, Neil. So anyway, moving on, because I know this time is flying. Steve Lyons was our next speaker from Highways. Unfortunately, he can't make it, but having said that, right. Having said that, there was a couple of questions from the last meeting. One was regarding a 545 sign, which I think is the kids walking across the road for the senior school. Thurrock Council don't use this sign for senior schools, and it is felt that the Pelican Crossing is adequate. That was for that. There were questions posed by a member. Do Highways have any plans to liaise and work with the police over how to stop parking near the school? As a, God, I can't even say that word, as a discriminalised offence, it was decriminalised parking on in the waiting restriction. So enforcement is down by the civil enforcement officers and not the police. As such, this should be visited by parking enforcements in rotation with all 52 other schools in the borough. Thurrock Council Transport Development Team have no plans to take any further investigation or design in the vicinity of this school, as the school travel plan is complete, hasn't been completed for review. I think that's meant to be. I understand from Steve that Highways, or the person that works with schools, is having difficulty liaising with Purfleet School. So have we got anyone from Purfleet School here this evening?
Purfleet Primary.
Sorry.
Purfleet Primary.
Yeah, this is Purfleet Primary. Have we got a representative from Purfleet Primary here? Right, okay, that answers that question. So that's something we may well have to address. The sender writes, I'm pleased to see Thurrock Freight access map has been updated, making the bypass preferred route for HGVs instead of London Road. Thank you, Trevor. The new map also shows a lorry park just north of the primary school, should this be on the Beacon Hill Industrial Estate? Well, looking at it, it seems to be possibly in your front garden, Lisa. I don't know, but sort of in that vicinity. So that's something we're going to have a look at.
It is there, John, and just on that, that's the one where the lorries keep ending up on Mardyke Estate and then they can't get out again.
Yes, you're right. You are very, very right. So that's something we will have to look at, Trevor.
Yeah.
There are still 2 30-mile-an-hour signs at the entrance to Harrison's Wharf put up in error. Can they be removed? Apologies. The contract actor was asked to take these signs down. For some reason, this has been overlooked. Steve has chased the contractor again today, and hopefully they should be removed in the next 2 days. The final question was regarding the 30-mile-an-hour sign on the right-hand side of Tankill Road coming up towards the primary school. And it said that it's on the wrong side of the road and it offsets, it distracts drivers to look away from the road. Can this be moved? No. This is the most suitable location on the Western Footway. There is already a sign clutter in the form of wigwags, whatever the hell that is. A school warning sign and a traffic signal sign. The eastern side is clear with no overhanging bushes or signage. This will be monitored, and if proved to be a safety issue, it will be revealed. That was all the outstanding questions for highways that have been answered. So I can only say again, if anyone's got any questions for highways, then please send them to me 2 or 3 weeks before the end of March, so that I can forward them to Steve to see if he can get the necessary answers. Victoria, have you got any quick updates?
Yes, I'll keep them very quick, John. Thank you. The first one is regards to an issue that was a question that was forwarded to me with regards to gridding roads during if there's ice or snow in the coming days and weeks. Apparently there's no forecast for snow for the foreseeable future, according to the nice techie system that the team use in our environment team. And when and if there is snow or ice, there are, interestingly, this is a good quiz question, 545 kilometres of roads in the borough. So they do have a winter plan, which is on the council website, and that sets out the approach to gritting roads. And unfortunately, they do stick to the main road networks, kind of that include like bus routes and things like that. And then they look at kind of the secondary roads. But what I would say is if you think that there is a road that should be gridded or that is dangerous and that needs something, do get in touch or forward it to John or I or Kaiser or Oliver to flag with the team, and that we can try and get something done about that question. And then I'll keep it short because I know it's late, it's getting on. Just 2 kind of big things I think that are worth mentioning that would impact are the first, and some of this you're probably reading in the local media, is regards to the budget for council. Obviously the budget setting meeting for full council, and indeed that impacts the borough, is next month, and the administration currently in charge of the council are planning to increase council tax and include a social care precept on top of that. So that means that highly likely that there'll be an increase to your council tax bills, even though I don't agree with it. There's currently a £43 million black hole that the council need to kind of sort out their finances on, not because of COVID, it's because of other things, because the government have obviously given us money to cover COVID. So that's kind of very concerning with regards to kind of financial council issues. And then the other
Victoria.
Sorry?
Don't be political.
I haven't mentioned any party. I'm just saying the administration, not political, but it's just a fact. Your council tax is going up. Whether or not I'm sure loads of people have got a belief on whether or not they want their council tax increased or not. Me personally, I don't want it increased. But I won't mention a party. But you all know who it is. So that's on budget, and then COVID obviously is the other thing that is on everyone's lips, and obviously within my area in the opposition group is health. And on COVID, again, many of you will be looking at the numbers locally, but broadly we're heading in the right direction with regards to our reduction in people getting COVID and sadly passing away from COVID. Our numbers are still high, but we've moved down to number 25 out of all of the top tier authorities. We were at one point a few weeks ago number 1, so we are decreasing in number. We're now 25, so that's good. However, the numbers are still very, very high. You'll all be aware of the highly transmissible strain that we have here. So again, whilst it's going in the right direction, still be very, 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 very cautious about going out, and when out, make sure you're social distancing and wearing a mask, etc. With regards to the vaccination programme, I'm told it's going very well. By the end of the month, I'm assured by colleagues that all care homes and the vast majority of 80 plus and some 75 to 75-year-olds should be vaccinated. So that's fantastic. Sadly, I can't provide the exact number of vaccinations that have been carried out in Thurrock because that information is being held nationally and not shared with us. However, I am informed that the groups that should be getting the vaccine are getting it, or the first one at least. I will keep it at that, Chair, because it's now 9:15, but I'll be very happy to take any questions here, or very happy for anyone to drop me an email and I can either give them a call or reply via email. Hope that's okay, John.
Yes, thank you very much, Victoria, and it is a pleasure to see you, as always.
Thank you, you too.
Right, moving on very, very quickly. Ken and Jason, you're still with us. Have you got anything further you want to present on phase 1A? Yeah. Can you unmute yourself, guys?
Sorry, my mistake. We weren't planning on it, but happy to field any questions if there are any.
Is there anything else any further little snippets? Or,
John, can I ask a question?
Hey?
I just wanted to ask a question on the IMC.
Yes, go on.
It was literally just what's its square footage. I can see that obviously it's a good size, it's a couple of floors, but what is the square footage, and is it one of the largest out of the 4 IMCs?
On the first question, Victoria, it's 2,140 square meters, I think, but please don't quote me. It's just over 2,000 square meters, split between the 2 floors. I couldn't tell you the size of the other ones, but they are pretty similar because the services provision is pretty similar.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Jason. Anyone else got any questions for Jason or Ken?
I'd like to ask why Purfleet's not getting the cafe facility, or I think it was also marked as community facility.
In the slideshow of the allocations, so we've got our community facility in our town centre, Claire. You'll remember on the other side of the railway station, we've got our retail supermarket and our community facilities provided there. But we are still looking at the allocation of the uses across the town centre. So the IMC will be a sort of a self-contained health hub, if you will, with the dentistry and the pharmacy. The community centre in the current scheme is allocated right next to the, in the town centre, on the other side, right next to the retail supermarket.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question on that, please?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the community facility as it is it as well designed currently as what we've seen in the IMC?
So the short answer is yes. In terms of its current design evolution, it is the same level, and it will be similarly well designed. You know, we are looking to bring all of that light and airiness and finish right through the whole scheme. So what you've seen in terms of the finishes and architecture of the IMC is just a snippet of the quality that will go right through the development.
If that's the case, will we have the opportunity to see that at the next community design forum?
Yeah, so John and I have actually talked about this just this morning. Actually, we're going to, and as I mentioned in the presentation, we're going to set up for the community design forums a rolling program through the course of this year. And we still have to work through which part of the scheme will be brought to which forum, but definitely, you know, the community facilities, the town centre, all of those early works on our program will be brought forward as the design evolves.
Thank you, Jason. I've got a little, I noticed that, and this is probably more towards Louise rather. Louise?
Yeah, I'm here.
I noticed that there's no plans to put the library and hub, predominantly the hub, in the IMC. Is there any reason for that, or is it just?
I'd have to defer to council colleagues on that, but these are very early indicative designs. So yeah. Although there's names on what things are, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what's finally going to go in there. That's what's all up for discussion. Right. And, you know, that will be for all of the partners to sit around the table and work out, you know.
The drawings, I think you'll find they were shown. They were shown on one of the drawings.
They were. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, well, I was looking at the chart where it said what was going to be in what.
Yeah, that, again, that's sort of indicative. I mean, Corringham is more further along, and so what they've got is what they've got. But there is definitely plans to have community hubs within the IMCs, because they're meant to be a whole person centre rather than just medical. Yeah.
I know I've said this to you several times before, but as we move along, please don't forget that we're here and we want to be involved.
No, and we definitely want to come back with the next iteration when you know, a bit more of the health planning's been done and we've got more of an idea exactly what will be going where, and working with Ken and Jason and Garrett and everyone else to make sure that it's all doable, and then we'll come back and say, what do you think? Yeah,
that's good. Anyone else got any questions?
Yeah, will the IMC be replacing Purfleet Care Centre and that closing, or will they run in tandem?
Well, at the moment, that's a discussion being had with, well, have to be had with NHS Property Services, because they will have to decide if they want to pay for the care centre and the IMC, or whether they'll merge the two. But that plan hasn't been had yet. But any changes to access or premises will have to go through public engagement and consultation before anything like that could happen.
Anyone else?
Can I come in, John? Oh, sorry. Can I come in with a question again?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, John. Just on that last point, really, I'm quite concerned that the answer with regards to kind of the Purfleet Care Centre and the IMC should be additional resource, like on top of the existing centres, not changing or removing. It's supposed to be added resource, not exchanged resource. So very, very concerned about that answer, and would want reassurance that in fact that the centres are going to remain. It's about a growth in health delivery of services, not a reduction.
Well, there was no saying about reduction. We're just saying about well, actually, there will be an increase in the number of people offering primary care services, but it's done on a primary care network footprint, which means that you know, the service is available for people in South Ockenden and Purfleet and Averley. So we're sort of developing the IMCs alongside that primary care network delivery. There's never been, you know, no one's confirming or denying or even hinting yet that the Purfleet Care Centre will close. That's not been on the cards. So it's just obviously where the GP facility might change, or there might be a different primary care offer in the IMC. But as we said, there's nothing actually confirmed yet. So these are very early indicative plans. So we're not ready to have those sorts of discussions yet.
Something we've got to keep a close eye on then, that make sure that doesn't happen. Thanks.
Can I echo the sentiments of Councillor Holloway on that? Because we do know that it is supposed to be already a replacement for Orsett Hospital. So we'll be losing the facilities there. So to hear that we'll be potentially losing other facilities in our local area, it does sound very concerning.
We've always said that the IMCs will not be a loss of facilities, it will be an improvement on what we've got. So, you know, obviously there are outpatient facilities currently at Orsett Hospital. Those facilities will still be provided, but they'll be provided in 4 different areas, so you've got a choice of where you could go. So, including diagnostics, they're looking at potential mobile diagnostic units, so which will be really useful rather than having to traipse up to Orsett or the bigger hospital in Basildon. You'd be able to get things like ultrasounds more locally, which is much better.
Wasn't that part of the Thurrock IMC, the diagnostic?
Yeah, so that's obviously that's earmarked for the urgent care centre, or what we know now as minor injuries unit, but the model is called an urgent care centre now. So work's going on at the moment as we speak to model that, but that's been slightly delayed because Basildon Hospital has to be involved in that because they own the Orsett Hospital site, and they've said they can't concentrate on that until the major incident's over. So but we are looking at mobile sites across more than one IMC, so there will be imaging facilities and diagnostic facilities in more than one.
I think we could do with an answer on that fairly soon, because if it's potentially that the Purfleet Care Centre will close and we're going to be getting Averley and South Ockenden residents coming here, then presumably their care centres will be closing as well. So
no, it wouldn't, because you know, the way NHS works, you have to have GP services within a certain area, so there has to be a number of sites, so they definitely wouldn't be closing the
so Averley and South Ockenden remain and ours gets diluted?
No, they'd still be open. The services delivered there are offered through the GP that currently exists in those services, but the primary care offer is delivered by this primary care network model, which is a conglomerate of all the GP practices across a certain area, covering a population of around 30,000, and they share mutual aid and mutual support in terms of things like, I don't know if any of you have seen paramedic practitioners that come out to your home, or advanced medical, advanced nurses that can do prescriptions, or clinical pharmacists. They sort of share a network of qualified primary care staff. So, yeah.
You know the operating hours? I don't mean surgery. I mean what hours it will be open. Is it?
Oh yeah, it's hoped to be open 7 days a week. So and the model they wanted was 7 till 7, but we'll see. I mean, that hasn't been finalised, but definitely, you know, it'll be on the extended footprint that we've got at the moment for the, I don't know if you've seen Thurrock Health Hubs, or any of you go to the Thurrock Health Hubs for out of hours care, but definitely be available later than just your average GP facility.
Hi, could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just with regards to that, obviously what Jason's been saying about the new homes, obviously all being built for the regen. Obviously numbers for the current care centre are already very, very tight. So with regards to you can't get appointments and things like that. So with the new IMC, would you obviously, what's going to be the criteria for maybe joining that surgery? The numbers that people could be obviously accepted at that surgery compared to what Purfleet Care Centre does offer, because if that does close down, but obviously we've got lots more people living in Purfleet when the regen is done, how is that going to work?
I'm not sure because I don't know how that works, but I know obviously I'm just the comms and engagement officer, so I've got some information, but I'm not the expert on things like primary care. So what I will say is that you know, there obviously has to be a certain number of people per GP, like a, you know, I don't know how many that is, but they'll obviously have to factor in enough medical appointments to cope with a growing population.
I can add some colour that I can tell you that the design brief that we're working to is the support for 20,000 people.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Anyone else got
Sorry,
any?
if I can just add to that. Sorry, just to add to that question with regards to being able to get an appointment, is the hope as well that I've been told that if you can't have, because as Louise, as a comms person, has said, that you should be able to access care in another one of the hubs. So although the Purfleet one will be closest, if you are well enough to travel to one of the other integrated medical centres, you'll also be able to be seen there. So that it's not such of a focus on being seen so close. If you can go a bit further and you're well enough and you can get an appointment there, so it should make it a bit, hopefully that should make it easier. That's what I've been told as well. So I hope that helps.
That's definitely true. That's true. Yeah.
Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Louise. Kerry, are you here in place of Andrew? You're muted. Do you want to unmute yourself?
I am here in place of Andrew. Yes, for tonight.
And what, you're not coming again?
Well, no, usually I would. Usually I'd be on with James, you know, James McCulley.
Yeah, oh, right, okay.
Yes, I'm not with him tonight, so I think he got lost in the process of you sending out another invitation and I couldn't go to him.
Come back. I thought he came back.
No.
Oh,
can't see him.
Right, okay, so you live in Harrison's Wharf?
I live in Harrison's Wharf, yeah.
Are you one of our members?
I am.
Good.
Quite new. I joined in your last meeting actually, so since then.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
so you're getting the updates.
Yeah, and you'll be seeing a lot more on my face.
Absolutely great. Has anyone got any other issues they want to bring up before we draw to a close? No, that's great. Right, I've got one little thing here, and I don't know how it works actually, but I was looking online and Essex News, they're asking for people, even if they haven't got, don't think they've got COVID and they feel absolutely 100%, to book in and have a flow test. So I assume that invitation goes out to Thurrock as well. And what I will do is I will ping it out to everybody on the mailing list, which should be all you guys, except for perhaps the members of PCRL. There's 2 contacts, and so that if you want to take up the invitation, you can. I think we've stretched.
We do. Sorry, John. We do have something in the chat that somebody's asked because they don't have a mic. Larry Collins has asked concerning the question about the IMC and the Purfleet Care Centre. He said,
oh, right.
Will they be handed over to companies like Virgin Doctors, etc.?
Right. Did you get that, Louise?
Yeah. So again, I'll have to take that back. I'm not sure on details about providers of GPs, and I'll ask that question. But again, any changes that might be needed to providers or any changes to facilities would have to be subject to public engagement and consultation involving the local GPs and all stakeholders. So I couldn't say for sure what, anything like that, I'm afraid.
Okay, thank you very much, Louise. Right, I think we've run our course for this evening. Our next meeting will be the 30th of March, again starting at 7:30, and again it will be the same venue as we've got this evening, your front room and my kitchen. Oh, and Trevor's office, because he's a little bit posh up in the corner there. But if no one else has got anything to say, what I would ask though is, if you think it was a half decent meeting, can you let us know? If you think we was absolute rubbish, please let us know, so that we know whether we're doing it right or whether we're doing it wrong. Otherwise, we won't be able to get better. Thank you, Moira, for staying up until well past your bedtime.
Yes, 1:30 in the morning.
Oh my word.
We're talking about the last 3 quarters of the meeting, not the first quarter.
The sun will be coming up soon.
I know.
Sorry,
thank God.
Sorry, Trev, what did you say there?
We were talking about the last 3 quarters of the meeting, not the first quarter, for any comment.
Yeah.
And any questions outstanding in the chat room, we'll go through and they will be either responded to at the next meeting or directly to.
Yeah, so thank you, Trevor. Thank you for everybody for being patient with us, because we didn't anticipate the system not working. No, that's it.